Yeah, so if Tony Stark is the bread, what is Banner, like the ham or cheese or something? Eggs?
The mayonnaise.
What kind of sandwich are we talking, Georgia?
We're talking about a cheeseburger. This is UnpauseIt, a podcast by a family of geeks, bro.
Everybody around the table, starting with who's sitting to my right. You are the sauce.
Oh yeah, the sauce _
Yes, on Twitter. And what is your first name?
Willis.
How old are you, Willis? Just say it.
11.
We all know you already said you're 13.5, which is not true.
I was gonna say 23.
Well, why aren't you going out and driving and getting us some errands done? Let's go.
Because I'm
Yes,
lazy.
because he's lazy and he wants to play video games all the time.
I said it
Well, I
first.
want to do that too. Who is sitting across from me?
Furious girl, happy face.
So she is Furious Girl on Twitter. The O is a 0 in Furious Girl. What's your? That's right. What's your first name, Georgia?
Georgia, you just said it.
I fail. Who is the person to my left?
That would be the dad of Buds, Jeremiah here.
We're just doing the round table as to who is present because not all of us will be present all the time. But we are all four here for every one of these Avengers rundowns. I am Lady Disdain on Twitter. It's with a Y instead of an I in Disdain. And my name is Rachel, and I am the mother unit at this table.
Hi.
And editor.
Yes, and editor, and all things amazing.
Hello.
Georgia, are you driving this podcast?
Smiley face, yes.
All right. Well, which movie are we talking about?
Iron Man 2.
2 Iron Man dose. This is cool.
This is mostly for Dad. Tech specs.
Tech specs, dad of Buds, _ the dad of Buds here. Yeah, we are talking about Iron Man 2. It was released on May 7th, 2010. 2 years after Iron Man. May has been a tentpole month for Marvel movies. Every May, starting with this one, there was some gaps in there, the first movies or so. This one grossed $312 million at the domestic box office, which is interesting because Iron Man 1 grossed $318 million.
Ooh, so it got outpaced by its predecessor, basically.
Right. So it didn't quite make the same amount of money in the domestic box office as its predecessor, but it was very close. We're talking quibbling a little bit of, millions of dollars quibbling, I guess. but the opening weekend was $30 million more. There was a bigger drop off. So it had a bigger opening because people were expecting it from Iron Man, and then it just dropped off. It did make more money in the global box office, $623 million versus $585 million for Iron Man 1. Still, when we're talking about Star Wars movies and Marvel movies now, especially after Avengers, which we'll get to in a couple of movies, this is like the opening gross weekend is what these movies are making in this entire run. So what we're going to do here is directed by Jon Favreau. The returning characters, Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow. This introduces some characters to us. The Black Widow.
Yes.
Scarlett Johansson. It introduces Don Cheadle replacing...
And the Saints rejoice, Terrence Howard.
Right.
Yes.
As Rhodey. And he gets his Iron Man suit, gets his own suit, and becomes...
War Machine.
That's right. Directed by Jon Favreau again, who returns as Happy Hogan.
A little bit of a bigger part.
And it was definitely funnier in this movie, for sure, than he was in the first movie. A little bit of comic relief, especially when he's fighting alongside Black Widow. And yeah, it takes him the entire time. Also, we have returning Agent Coulson, Nick Fury. And the S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of expands a little bit. We see a little bit more of S.H.I.E.L.D. in their new villains. Sam Rockwell, Mickey Rourke. I would also add there Gary Shandling.
Senator Stern. Yes.
Right.
Yes, this is his first appearance in the series. Georgia, what were you going to input?
He still has his computer.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay to have his computer. It's fine.
Yeah, so we have some returning characters, new characters. I want to add a little bit of trivia on this one. This is from the trivia pages on IMDb. It has been confirmed by actor Tom Holland, who played...
Spider-Man.
Right, Peter Parker. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that character was the little kid at this expo in the Iron Man mask. That was Peter Parker.
Dun,
Like,
dun,
it's
dun.
easy enough to just say, oh, that was Peter Parker, because it was just some kid in a Iron Man mask.
Nice.
But they say that's part of the trivia.
Well, I mean, it's a stretch. You could say that now. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing
we're
to
talking
prove
about
it's
suits that
not.
can fly around and, spider people.
Circumstantial evidence right there.
Yeah.
So we're okay with that little trivia.
So now we're going on to the superpowers. Dun, dun, dun.
Who should go first with that? It is your decision.
The editor.
Superpowers. So this is a sequel to Iron Man. So his superpower in the first movie was the fact that his intelligence. He created a mini arc reactor that's keeping him alive. And then he designed the Iron Man suit, which is, again, just a big point of this movie is saying, well, the government basically saying, look, this is so advanced. You've created the most advanced weapon, which he claims is a deterrent. But they're saying, but you need to give this to us. This much power shouldn't be in one person's hands. But that's his power, is that he's smart enough to be able to create that. The government couldn't have done it without him. Obadiah Stane couldn't have done it without him, or didn't do it without him. So I think his superpower, though, for this movie is that he upgraded his suits. He created mobile suits. He created different types of suits. How many suits do we see at the beginning? What?
4.
That's right. So he's gone through Mark IV. I believe, do you think the suitcase that we see him use in the Monaco racetrack, is that Mark V, perhaps?
I believe so.
I think so, too.
Or it's just like a fail-safe suitcase.
Right. So I think that's one of his superpowers in this movie, is that he's upgraded his suits. He's starting to make more that are better than the last versions.
I also have that same. I called it Da suit.
Da suits.
Da suit.
All right, to the winners.
Okay, so his superpower is his brain.
His brain?
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
And I mean, he wouldn't be anywhere. He wouldn't be rich. He'd just be another guy walking along the street with $2 in his pocket. If he didn't have that much intelligence. I mean, he wouldn't be alive if he didn't have that much intelligence.
True.
See, it's another reason that Marvel is completely fake. That can't happen in real life, but suitcases. But how did he? I mean, that must have been really dense suitcase, because you can't fit a whole suit in that.
Suspension of reality.
Yeah, it is a comic book movie,
crucial.
and that is
magic.
suspension of that, and it's with little, and that's why it was easily destroyed, super easily destroyed. Like, it was completely wasted after his battle with Whiplash, which we'll get to later on with some villains in here. Vulnerability is probably on here. I think the consensus is that he's just really smart.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
quite smart.
Yeah, so he developed the Iron Man suit. Without the suit, he's not as good a fighter. Maybe in future movies we'll see how that works with him. But he definitely needs the suit for him to have his superpowers, but his brain's figuring out what's going on now.
All right, now we're going on to the weaknesses.
Hey, can I interject right before you do that? You mentioned it last night.
It's called the Smart Sandwich. It's the sandwich of 3 movies. Iron Man 1, Hulk, and Iron Man 2 mixed together equals the Smart Sandwich. Smart people.
Yes, they were all intelligent.
We all like superheroes where something happened to them that they couldn't control and it gives them a superpower. Now they have to deal with it. But we've got 2 superheroes right here in these 3 movies that are insanely intelligent, and that is a huge reason why they become super. So good point, Georgia.
Yeah, so if Tony Stark is the bread, what is Banner, like the ham or cheese or something? Eggs?
The mayonnaise.
What kind of sandwich are we talking, Georgia?
We're talking about a cheeseburger.
Oh, so he's the ground beef.
I mean, he does have a lot of meat.
He's quite beefy, literally, as the Hulk. All right, back to you, Georgia.
All right, so we're on to the weaknesses. Now to the Deadabytes.
Zatabites. Okay. Yeah, some of the things that were on here, the weaknesses, the things that he had to overcome. He was poisoned, right? That's a kind of figure out what's going on at the beginning. He has all those weird little stripes, the palladium poison, and then after his battle with Whiplash on here, spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it, it becomes out like, what a horrible way to die, painful way to die. So he's not doing so well, and that causes him to make some bad decisions in his life, which I think is the most real aspect of the movie, is that he's making bad decisions when he finds out and thinks that he's going to die. He doesn't really know how to come to terms with his own mortality in that one. But his weakness also is his inability to relate. So he can't really come out and tell Pepper what he's feeling or thinking and why he gave her the company. You know, because later on in the movie, she is running StarTech. She is the CEO of everything going forward from here. I think those are his weaknesses.
Next is the sus.
Oh, hi. So I think Tony Stark's biggest weaknesses are pride, carelessness, and selfishness.
Dun dun dun.
I think those are very astute.
He's very prideful, and he's like, and carelessness, he's not really doing everything to find out what can replace the palladium or anything. He said he checked all the elements, but what if, and like all compounds or something, but like he's not taking any other steps. He's just like, yeah, I'm done for, I'm dead. And selfishness, he cares about himself a lot.
I think that's right on.
That's true in almost all Marvel movies.
What about,
Dun, dun, dun.
who's next, Georgia?
Me. Alright. I think his weakness is the arc reactor because it basically is killing him but keeping him alive, but killing him faster than keeping him alive.
Right.
Yeah. I very much agree with Dad Abides Jeremiah about the palladium poisoning. That is a huge weakness for him. He's not at full strength in any of his battles until the final. He's chronic. When he battles Whiplash in Monaco, he is not at full strength and also drunk, which we know he can overcome a lot when he's drunk. He can still ace a speech about, microbiology or whatever while he's tipsy, but he's not at full strength when he battles Rhodey at his house. And so the palladium poisoning, absolutely. And really, again, just pinging off what you guys have said, he seems to think the only answer is tech. I love that you said the arc reactor is actually one of his weaknesses. It's very clear that he thinks he's hit the pinnacle of that. He's like, nope, I've created it. It can't go any further, and therefore I am stuck. That's not true. And so it feels like his weakness, which pings again off Willis, is his pride. He assumes it can't go any farther if he can't take it any farther. And he has to get his eyes open to the fact that, actually about 50 years ago, this was ready to go farther. We just didn't have the technology today to do it. So he needs more than his brains. I think he didn't realize that he needs other people's intelligence, and he basically just flat out needs other people in order to help himself. Very much more evident in this movie, I think.
Right. It seems like we've also covered that weaknesses and vulnerability is kind of the same thing on this one. Since he's a mortal man, he's not some Thor semi-immortal,
right,
non-human being like some of the things that we see in later movies.
Ladies are vulnerable.
I wrote down girls. He's vulnerable.
The ladies.
I wrote down legacy.
Dun, dun, dun.
He is vulnerable. It distracts him because you can tell when he has the video of his father introducing the expo, that really weighs him down. Also, his is not the only legacy. You've got Vanko, whose dad has died, and he's got his own dad's legacy that he's trying to battle. So I feel like legacy is a vulnerability across the whole movie
Dun, dun, dun.
for everybody.
Now to the major battles.
Woo-hoo!
Who wants to say the major battle?
Me. The major-est battle,
Okay.
I think, is the Hammer Droids versus Tony and Rhodes. It's the major-est battle.
Now, he calls them drones in the movie, but you call them droids like they were Star Wars.
Yeah, Hammer Droids.
Let's not mix it. They're drones.
Droids.
Hammer Droids.
Because that sounds like hemorrhoids, which is
That's a joke.
not a very good thing.
No, nobody wants hemorrhoids or hemorrhoids.
Oh, Hammer Droids. Get it right or go home.
Cool. Well, what'd you think of that battle, though?
I rate it 8.6 out of 10.
That battle? So that major battle. Okay, so that's the expo battle.
I call it the end movie battle.
It's a long
Climax.
battle. Does it not
Right.
feel like it has a couple parts to it? It's long.
There's a lull in the middle, to kind of recap it for those who haven't seen it. There's a lull in the middle, and then fights the quote-unquote main villain at the very end. But there's some cool separate fighting in there. I thought it was really good. I thought that battle was really well done, and it could have taken some of that slower parts of the middle part of the movie out and done well with just having this battle in there.
Mother.
All right, my favorite battle was the house battle, the birthday party battle between Tony and Rhodes and Rhodey. I love that battle mostly because I love that it gave Don Cheadle's a chance to really establish. I mean, he's ready to go to town, and he goes and that's his first experience in the suit. He needs to battle Tony. He needs to, because really Tony is out of control. He's drunk. He's decided to start blowing things up in the room. People are throwing up glass and bottles and watermelons, and he's just randomly shooting things while he's drunk. And so he needs to be taken back in a hand. And so Rhodey basically comes in with the suit on. He's like, I'm only going to say this once. Get out. And everybody's like, yep, we're out of here. And they have that music that's going with it while they beat each other up. So that's one of my favorite battles, I think, is because you see them battle and you're not really sure where that's going to end up, because they both look at each other when he's taken off with the suit, and Tony just kind of sits there and knows that he got beat.
I'll say, well, there's really only 3 major battles in the whole movie. And I think some of the problems that people consider this having, quote, sequelitis, I've heard people call it that, stems from some of these decisions that we're being able to get into here in a moment when we get to Stanley cameo as well. I want to have a little more exposition there. But the Monaco battle, that's the first time we see Whiplash. We see Ivan Vanko on there. Really cool. That was the suitcase one. A little... Like, how can you fit that much technical? You can't carry it.
I know, from the mass perspective, I'm like, I don't think that whole suit, as Willis said.
But that's okay. It's just a movie, and it's just fun. It fits in this universe. It fits in the movie. It doesn't have to work. I mean, he can fly at supersonic speeds in a suit of armor, basically. So we're not going to even go as far as physics on this one. I like that one, but I think my favorite one is the Expo. The whole battling there. We're talking about that was Peter Parker in the Iron Man mask, and he blows up the drones.
And they all start blowing up, and he's got to go get, and he guides them all away from all the people.
Right.
Yes, my favorite is also the battle at the end / middle of the movie, just because it's drones / droids.
She is.
You are the dark side.
I'm the dark side.
No, you're the sauce.
Thank you. I like being sauce. I don't know what that means.
The Stanley cameo. I choose myself to go first.
Go.
Do it.
And I think I say no, because it's just no and no. No.
Okay, Stanley cameo, they called him Larry King. I don't know who that is.
Right, that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm with Georgia on this one. Just flat out, no, go away, get out of my house.
It was a poor choice to have him as Larry King.
Off my lawn.
This Iron Man is a movie for kids. That Larry King cameo just does not work, and it's in there for a split second.
Yeah.
It's so fast. Definitely with the no category on this one. But
I am also no.
in Monaco, Elon Musk shows up playing
Elon Musk.
Which is pretty crazy.
Nowadays, knowing where Elon Musk is, and you guys, I don't know if you're aware, he makes Teslas, those really fast cars.
The problem with the villains in Iron Man 2 is that there's 3 of them. You have Whiplash, who is a strong character in the comics, and does the same thing that Tony does. He's not quite in a cave, but he is in Russia, and he is in the underworld of Russia, so it's kind of harder to come by maybe certain things legitimately. Comes up with palladium somehow and makes these really powerful whips. He's a physicist, so it came to him pretty good. Strong character there, poorly developed. And then also a rival of Tony Stark's, Justin Hammer, played by the awesome Sam Rockwell. Played the character really well, but then he was so weak as a character. Like, he was such a buffoon.
What do you got?
I agree with you, Dad. He's a complete idiot. Get off my lawn. Get out of my house.
Right.
But I was going to say this. Hammer is not a rival. No. Tony is totally just...
Totally, but that's the problem, too. He is a rival insofar as that world, as far as his company goes. And now he's the weapons contractor for the military. But he's not, because he's not nearly as smart. They needed to make him smart or...
Well, this drives back to a bit of a larger, more adult theme, but... Just because the government says somebody's good at something doesn't mean they are. And unfortunately, Hammer's got the approval of the government, and he works for the government, and they're like, yeah, he's great, and he's not great.
So the third villain is the senator.
And the government.
Right, the government, he wants to get it, but we find out why in another movie we won't talk about here. But he turns out to be a good villain. His comedic timing was great. You saw that he was a little dubious, but he was still a senator, kind of found out what's going on. They needed to not have 3 villains. They needed to make maybe Whiplash and Hammer.
The favorite scenes.
When you're the boss, you get to say that.
I bet it's going to be the same as me.
It might. Let's find out. Let's find out.
My favorite scene is when Coulson says, "I'll tase you and watch Super Nanny while you're drilling into the carpet."
That's a great scene.
I can't get enough Coulson. I mean, I think I'm the only one. You watch a couple of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm the only one who's watched that. I really do. I love him. I love Clark Gregg. I love Agent Coulson, and that is an awesome pick.
Yeah, so I have two favorite scenes, and one of those is exact same thing.
So they're both the same.
Yeah, if you try to leave the premises, I will tase you and watch Super Nanny as you roll into the carpet.
And Tony's like, okay. Huh?
I don't think either one of you have seen Super Nanny.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But it was funny. It was a great
Definitely
line.
funny. So what's your other scene?
The donut. I think it's actually called that in like the movie, but it's where Tony Stark is eating a donut in
the donut.
Yeah.
I've seen that donut.
Donutception.
Incept the
A
donut.
donut inception.
I said donutception.
Okay,
Donutception.
wait. Nick Fury is like, Mr. Stark, I would please ask you to exit the donut.
That's pretty funny.
Funny.
That was good. And to be honest, that was one of the scenes that was added in to expand the shield thing that Jon Favreau didn't like, and it turned out to be one of the better scenes.
Georgia, did you have any other favorite scenes?
No.
Okay, that was your favorite. Who's next? Me?
Yes.
Okay. I had a few. The donut shop scene is one of my favorites. It's not so much him sitting in the donut. I love where he is sitting and just chatting with Nick Fury, and you get the full Samuel Jackson effect out of Nick Fury. He's like, he just took it. I
Take
love you. Yeah. And so I love that. And I feel like this from other movies as well that we see in the future. I feel like Sam Jackson is a bit of a surrogate father figure for just a smidge,
A bit.
just a little, because he provides that guiding voice of reason, kind of, and not that he's always right. And most dads aren't. Hello.
Right.
But he does. I like that. So I like that. I do love Don Cheadle's entry into the Senate hearing. And I just feel like they wrote it exactly like that, saying, we know you were expecting Terrence Howard. It's Don Cheadle's. You need to move on now. And the lines exactly say that. It's like, look, it's me. I'm here. Move on. When Rhodey comes down to the basement and finds Tony feeling pretty bad, and he has to help him over, and he actually witnesses Tony replacing the palladium core, which looks awful. He's like, this is in your body? And I love, again, is why Don Cheadle's is awesome, just that unspoken, he's watching his best friend right there, and he's just like, I don't know what to do for you right now, because you are in a bad way. And lastly, my last favorite scene is when he rediscovers the element, when he creates that particle accelerator all across, redesigns his thing, and then he shoots it, and also like when he's discovering the element based on his dad's map of that world of tomorrow. I love that, where he's slowly being like, oh my gosh, my dad knew this, and now I'm able to see it, and he totally gets the full effect of that.
Favorite scene, I'm going to keep it down to 2 for this, because this is not my favorite movie of the whole thing, because of the pacing in the middle, not because of the weak characters or anything like that and the sequel-itis of it. It gets a little slow in the middle. They could have sped that up in editing, maybe even. But the donut scene is definitely, and it was for the same reason as Lady Disdain here, is Sam Jackson going a little Pulp Fiction on there. It's like you want him to say what again, Tony?
Say what again?
Kids don't know that reference yet, but you will.
I saw it on the poster downstairs.
Yeah.
We have it on a poster.
No,
they haven't seen the movie.
The guy that has like the kind of half afro thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Jerry Curls is what
With
that's
a great
called.
mustache.
It's called Jerry Curls. With a great mustache and mutton chops. It's awesome. But I think my favorite scene is the introduction of Black Widow, but not because of Scarlett Johansson in tight pants. It's because of the coffee table computer thing interface, and he's just sitting there. Oh, I'm just gonna pull up my computer database with Jarvis on my coffee table. I'm like, I kind of want one of those.
Just so you guys know, Databytes has been shopping for some furniture in our living room, one of them being a coffee table. Very timely that you saw that kind of thing. You're like, oh gosh, I want that. I don't think we could afford that, but
I don't think that exactly exists yet. Cause it's
I agree with you.
I mean, that was a hologram in broad daylight, and he's barely even touching it. He
Right.
very
It-
handy.
Motion
It was just
control. See that clearly. There's no circuitry. It's super futuristic, which is cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's Tony Stark.
I always think about that. It's like,
That'd be so cool.
right.
It was just made in Mexico 3 days ago.
Hey, you never know though. I mean, we've seen it happen, guys. Dad and I have been there where we watched Star Trek back in the day, and now we have tablets like what they have used in Star Trek in the show.
Right. So,
that
flip
is on the
phones
way.
and
We'll
all kinds
have
of
those
crazy
kind
things.
of coffee tables.
So,
What's next, baby?
The half-hour screen time. I also go on my cell phone.
oh come on, no, not
She gets to go first.
What I'm doing, I got this like 2 days ago or something. Minecraft on the computer. I just got it 2 days ago, and I played it most of this entire week.
Well, that's because you got a gaming laptop for Christmas and your own copy of Minecraft on your gaming laptop. We still haven't set up the server yet, so
Connect.
yet, because it's been a busy holiday season.
And if I may put a plug out there, if anyone out there plays Minecraft on servers and knows of a good group or server of gamers that would be appropriate for 9 to 12-ish year olds, please do email podcast@unpauseIt.com and let us know. That is something I'm on a quest for. I barely understand this all, but from what I gather, it's about finding somewhere where you guys can play safely online with people who are not creepy. And
Yes,
that's what we're gonna
please.
do.
I want to play with someone who's nice, like people.
See, I'm creepy. I'm just standing there in my Minecraft skin staring at another Minecraft person like,
Well, yes, you are creepy, but not in the internet creepster creepy.
Oh, yeah, I also shoot my fake laser beams, yeah.
All right, so that's your half hour of screen time, which again we're on vacation, so it's usually
Right.
more than a half hour.
That's only
right
for
now.
To
important
the
time.
sauce.
Okay, my 8 hours of screen time is...
It's 8 hours now, I guess.
Lord. We do intersperse other
is
activities.
Legend of Zelda
Breath of the Wild.
or Overwatch.
Slash.
Right.
Overwatch of the Wild.
Yeah, Overwatch you got for Christmas. Breath of the Wild that I've had for a while, but you just now really got into it, and they're both really good games. And it's able for the kids having a Switch and a PlayStation 4. Video games are much more engaging than, say, television or just watching movies. We loved watching movies.
And YouTube.
I don't really like watching television, really at all. But when they're on the video games, they can switch off with the Switch, pun intended. One can play the PlayStation, one can play, because there's, we have a lot of kid-friendly games on the PlayStation. Some Overwatch isn't quite the kid-friendliest game, but Breath of the Wild is. And we have lots of games that both kids really enjoy on the Switch.
I will say too, it is credited to Willis in the Overwatch game that we actually took the plunge and got a PlayStation Plus membership, which I had not known. That's only $60 for a year, and that is, since we only use the one PS4 console, that's all of us get to use that. So that's pretty cool. You get free games and stuff. So I have a feeling if for Dad and I, for our whatever hours of screen time, we're going to be kind of exploring the free PlayStation games we get through that membership.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
No.
Because my half hour is on a Kindle that I got for Christmas. I have
reading.
currently a broken hand, basically, and I can only use one hand. Can't play video games without two thumbs. So I've been just reading on my Kindle Paperwhite. That's my screen time.
But what do you plan to do this next Thursday?
If I could get my hand cast off, I will spend the entire Saturday playing video games. I will catch up
Like
on some
Rayman.
Mario. No, I don't think I'll even play the new games.
Wow.
I'll catch up on Rayman later. But Mario
Ooh, I want to play Rayman.
and Uncharted Lost Legacy. I got it,
Yeah.
then broke my hand, haven't even unwrapped the box yet.
What were
Yes,
you
and
going to say?
it's tempting for me to do it.
Yes.
That's right.
I was going to say that you have played video games. You can play Mario with
Mario Run.
finger.
For
played
about
something that-
5 minutes.
Yeah.
He played something that I couldn't beat for 12 tries, and he did it in one shot with a broken thumb.
Yes.
But the other fingers hurt doing that, so I can't really do it for...
It's like a superpower.
Oh my.
No, but I do have Super Mario Run on my phone and play that occasionally. But that's a pick it up, play it for a minute, and then put it back
Yeah.
down type of game, and not something you can just sit there and play.
Yeah.
Now,
To me.
I'm excited about this. What did you come up with for a rating scale?
Arc reactors! Da, da, da.
Nice choice, Georgia.
I give it 0.1 arc reactors out of 10 arc reactors.
so you hated the movie.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
You really hated the movie.
Why not just say
Yes.
0?
Yeah, what's the
Because
point?
it
Whatever.
Because you need at least part of an arc reactor to keep Tony alive.
No.
Good logic,
Yeah.
though.
It's because
The hammer droids.
All right, so
Yes.
so you did say you liked that last battle. Okay, so that's a very
There
low
you go.
rating by the 9-year-old.
Okay, my turn. I give it 9 out of 10 arc reactors because I have to give it at least 3 points because it's a Marvel movie.
Okay.
So it just gets 3 because it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. given.
Okay.
And I don't know what I was thinking. I was too tired, but I probably would have given it a 7.5 if I actually knew what I was doing. But yeah.
So you were a little tired when you wrote down your number. Gotcha.
Who's next?
the man with the broken of the thumb.
Okay.
And you keep telling me not to do that.
That's true. I totally did it. I gave it 6.5 arc reactors. I do like the arc reactors because he's got the arc reactor in there, makes a new arc reactor. The arc reactor is what's propelling Stark Industries as a company. Whiplash makes his own arc reactor. That was a very
Arc reactor
appropriate choice.
section.
I give it 6.5. I do enjoy it. It's not something we can watch over and over again because of that slow pacing in the middle. But I think if you want to go through and watch the trilogies of movies, you have Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. You can skip Avengers and watch Iron Man 3. Then you can have Captain America 1, 2, and 3 so far. Thor 1, 2, and 3. We have some trilogies of characters. You can watch those without interspersing the other movies in there after you've seen them and see how it kind of rolls off. This is the middle of a trilogy of Iron Man movies, if you will. And when we get to Iron Man 3, we'll talk about that arc a little bit on that one. But it's fun. It's still very fun. And 6.5, I think, is a good score. I think it's only on the technical side is why it's 6.5. The story is good. Introducing the characters is good. But the villains are just too spread thin. There's too many of them.
I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10 arc reactors. I would probably never choose to watch this movie again, other than us doing this review. But it's crucial because you meet people in it that are integral to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We get more of Nick Fury. We meet Black Widow. We meet Senator Stern. We get better introduction or continuation of Rhodey. Yes.
Yeah, we get more roads.
We get more Rhodes. Yes.
More out of roads.
And we get Don Cheadle's as Rhodey, and he is absolutely important to the rest of the entire universe. And I think that with Senator Stern and some of those things as they go forward, those become very important later to the plot and to developments that really, they not only span the movies, but also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That has far-reaching consequences. And also, I am never going to not like getting an introduction to a strong female character like Black Widow. She kicked everybody's butt, pretty much was like, all you men can just move aside. I'm going to go in and take care of everything. Thank you so much for playing. So I appreciate that. 5.5 out of 10 arc reactors by me.
Yeah, there was a lot in here. I think so. To wrap up a little bit here, we can say, point of this podcast, is it family friendly? Not really. It's not really family friendly. It's long. It's
Boring.
slow in the middle. The end battle's really fun, but you've got to go through a bunch of minutia. There's only 3 battles with the Iron Man suit. Like in Iron Man 1, he's blowing things up, and then he's like really coming around. There's a lot of Iron Man in his suit in Iron Man 1 compared to this one. It may not seem like that in screen time. The minutes may actually be close or even more in Iron Man 2, but I think it was spread out better in the first movie. It was more continuity. It was going from Mark 1 to Mark 2 to Mark 3. It was a real progression. This one had the suitcase. That was fun. But then it was like just slow. He's talking on his airplane. He's going through all those problems. And then he gets hammered. That's not something that kids need to see.
Right.
It's something that really happens. So I'd say as far as kids go, you can skip this one.
Yay!
Great. What is our next movie?
The next movie,
Is
talking about the end scene here in on the DVD Blu-ray stuff, is directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Yay.
So he actually did that for there, and that's an actual scene from the movie of Thor, where then we see Mew Mew Mew, Thor's hammer. That's a joke from the Thor movie, which
Meow,
really
meow.
hits.
Georgia likes it. It's meow meow.
It's meow meow.
Lastly, I don't know if you guys knew, Georgia and I partook of this the other day, so the podcast is now available on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Play, and on SoundCloud, as well as our website, UnpauseIt.com. So we are out there.
So is the podcast over?
It technically is over. What did you want to do, burp?
I did, but I can't do it right now. I really did want to belch, like seriously.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Visit us at UnpauseIt.com.